Welcome to Sleepy Science. Tonight we enter the quiet world of sharks. But before we begin, hold this small mystery in your mind. Sharks can sense the heartbeat of another animal from meters away. They don't see it, they don't hear it. They simply feel it, like a soft signal moving through water. And this is only one of the calm secrets sharks carry in the deep. If you want the most relaxing shark facts, the kind that slow your thoughts and help you fall asleep, you're in the right place. And if you enjoy gentle science at night, make sure you subscribe so you never miss a new one. The ocean is calm tonight. The water is wide and open, and the sound around you grows soft. As you sink deeper into this quiet space, you begin to feel how still the ocean can be when nothing rushes and nothing chases. In this slow place, sharks move like shadows shaped by time. They are not wild storms. They are not monsters. They are old swimmers that learned long ago how to live in peace with the sea. When you picture them this way, something in your mind settles, something in your chest slows down. Sharks have lived here for hundreds of millions of years, long before trees stood on land, long before birds learned to fly, long before humans even existed. Their story is so long that your own thoughts feel small beside it, and that smallness is strangely calming. It feels like sitting inside a timeline that has no rush and no pressure, only steady change. When the first sharks appeared, the earth looked different. The oceans were warmer. There were strange plants, strange fish, strange creatures with armor-like shells. Sharks did not look like the ones we see today. Their bodies were simple, almost like smooth fish with long tail fins. Their teeth were small, and their bodies were not built for speed. They were slow animals that glided through the water with care, using the sea as their guide. When you imagine those early sharks, you can almost see the dark water around them, quiet and free of noise. You can imagine how they moved past reefs and rocks with a soft bend of the tail. This picture alone brings a kind of rest. It makes the ocean feel like a huge room where everything is steady and nothing needs to be loud. The world kept changing, and sharks changed with it. But they did not rush to evolve. Their bodies stayed simple. Scientists say their basic design works so well that there is no need to improve it. That idea alone brings a soft hook to your thoughts. A creature that survives for so long without needing big changes must be doing something right. You begin to see them not as hunters, but as creatures shaped by patience, creatures shaped by quiet. The more you think about that, the more the ocean becomes a peaceful place. The water feels smooth in your mind, and the movement feels gentle. And inside that space, sharks slide through the sea the same way they always have. If you picture a shark moving, you might expect fast turns or sudden power. But most sharks do not act this way. Their bodies are light and balanced, and they move in a slow rhythm that matches the water. Their tails sweep from side to side in a smooth line. Their fins guide them like calm hands. Even the great white, one of the most famous sharks, spends much of its time gliding at steady speed, letting the currents do part of the work. When sharks move like this, they barely disturb the water. They leave no splash, no bubbles, no noise. Their shape lets them pass through the sea without a sound. It is almost like watching a shadow cross a wall, calm and steady. In the quiet parts of the ocean where sunlight fades and the water grows cool, sharks move with extra care. Many species prefer these deeper, dim places because the light is soft and the water is still. Here, long rays of light stretch down from the surface like thin threads, and sharks slide between them without breaking the calm. Imagine the scene for a moment. A slow body, gentle movement, soft light. No rush. The ocean holds them, the way a calm room holds a sleeping person. This picture feels easy to breathe with. It gives your mind something to rest on, something slow enough to help your thoughts loosen. Sharks also live in a world where sound travels differently. Waves carry noise far, but inside the deep, everything becomes gentle. A distant click, a soft pulse, a tiny movement of another fish. Sharks do not panic. They do not react with fear. They simply turn toward the signal with a smooth push of the tail. They take their time. They sense everything through tiny shifts in the water around them. They feel changes in pressure. They feel small vibrations. They feel the faint electric fields of living things. It reminds you that the world can be understood in ways that are soft and subtle. Not everything must be loud or bright to be real. Early sharks learned to survive by reading the ocean like this. They listened, but not with ears. They watched, but not only with eyes. They felt the world with their whole body. This slow way of living kept them alive for ages. It made them part of the sea itself. The ocean shaped them so perfectly that many species today still carry features that their ancient ancestors had. Their teeth fall out and grow back. Their skin feels like smooth sand because of tiny scales. Their eyes see well in dim light. Their senses are calm but strong. The more you think about it, the more you feel how patient this design is. Nothing is rushed, nothing is wasteful. If you look at fossils of early sharks, you will find shapes that look familiar. The long fins, the pointed noses, the curved tails. Over time, some sharks became smaller, some became larger. Some grew wide heads, some grew long, thin bodies, but all kept the same quiet way of moving. Even the huge ones were slow and calm. They did not need speed to survive. They trusted the sea. They trusted the flow of life around them. And that trust sits at the heart of their story. When you imagine a creature living in the ocean for hundreds of millions of years, surviving every change, moving through every age with smooth motion, you begin to feel the weight of their calm. It spreads into your own thoughts. The ocean today still carries this old calm. You can picture sharks swimming through dark blue space, passing reefs, drifting near sandy floors, circling tall rocks and easing around sea plants that wave gently. They share the water with fish, turtles, rays, and small creatures that grow on coral. But nothing they do feels rushed. Everything feels balanced. Their movement fits into the sea's natural rhythm like a slow heartbeat that never rises too high. This idea alone can rest your mind. It gives you something steady to imagine, something smooth enough to quiet the noise inside your head. Sharks have seen the world change again and again. They were here before dinosaurs. They survived storms, volcanoes, shifting seas, and long winters when the earth cooled. They kept swimming, always guided by the same simple shape. Their story is long, but it is soft. It is the story of a creature that learned to move with the world instead of against it. And when you follow their story into the deep water, your own thoughts begin to move in the same slow way. You feel less weight. You feel less noise. You feel the calm of the sea spreading through your chest. As the water around you becomes darker and quieter in your mind, you can feel why sharks have stayed unchanged for so long. Their shape is made for ease. Their life is made for quiet. Their world is deep and open and slow. And inside that world they move like soft waves under the surface, steady and sure, carrying the memory of ages long gone. This is the ocean they belong to, and for a moment you belong there too. Soft movements, faint pulses, gentle pressure changes, and sharks read all these signals in a calm and careful way. They do not hurry, they do not guess, they let the water speak, and they listen with their whole body. This way of sensing the world is one of the most peaceful things about them, and once you picture it, your mind begins to slow down with the same quiet rhythm. A shark's senses are not loud or sharp. They are smooth, steady, and deeply tuned to the sea. One of the first things sharks notice is pressure. The water around them pushes and moves in small patterns, and sharks feel every change through a line of tiny pores along their sides. This line is called the lateral line, and it works like a soft radar. When a small fish wiggles its tail, the water ripples in a tiny wave. Sharks feel that wave even when they cannot see the fish. If a crab crawls over sand, the water shifts around its shell. Sharks feel that too. Every little movement sends out a shape in the water, and sharks read those shapes as if they were simple notes in a quiet song. This sense helps them move with confidence. Sharks do not need to twist fast or swing wildly. They move in smooth steps because the water guides them. They can tell when something ahead is large or small. They can feel when the water pushes against a rock or a reef. They can sense when the sea floor rises or falls. It is like walking through a room with your eyes closed, but still knowing where the furniture is, simply from the movement of air. When you imagine this, it feels strangely calm. It shows a world where nothing surprises you sharply. Everything arrives with enough warning to stay peaceful. But the ocean is not only a place of movement. It is also full of tiny electric signals. Every living creature gives off a soft electric field. It comes from the beating of the heart, the firing of nerves, and the flow of muscles. Sharks sense these faint charges through small dots on their face, called the ampullae of Lorenzini. These dots look like freckles or tiny holes. Inside each one is a gel that carries electric signals easily. To a shark, these signals are like tiny lights in the dark, even when there is no real light at all. This sense is so strong that a shark can find a fish hiding under sand. It can find an animal sitting still. It can even sense the Earth's magnetic field, which helps guide it across long distances. Imagine being able to feel the planet itself giving you direction. Sharks do not force their way through the sea. They follow gentle cues that are always there. They simply respond to what the world shows them, and that creates a deep sense of balance in every movement they make. When a shark uses its senses, nothing seems rushed. If a small fish swims nearby, the shark feels the ripples first. Then it feels the electric field. Then it sees the faint shape. These layers of information come together in a slow, steady flow. Sharks do not need to think in fast bursts. Their senses work together in a way that feels natural and smooth. It is almost like watching someone read a book line by line, with no rush to reach the end. The ocean gives them a story, and they follow each part gently. Their eyes also add to this calm style of navigation. Shark eyes are made for dim spaces. They have a reflective layer behind the retina that bounces light back through the eye, giving them a second chance to catch each ray. This means they see well in places where sunlight fades into blue. They can make out shapes and movements where most animals would see only darkness. And even here, they stay calm. They do not panic at sudden shadows. They do not jump at slight changes. They rely on their many senses working together like several small threads forming one strong line. When you picture a shark swimming through deep water with all these senses active, the image becomes peaceful. The shark is not guessing. It is not confused. It moves with quiet skill. It senses the water against its skin. It feels the faint signals of life around it. It sees the dim shapes ahead. And it uses all of this to glide through the sea in a straight, gentle path. Even when it changes direction, the movement is smooth. It follows the slow information of the water, not sudden impulses. Their sense of smell is also part of this calm world. People often imagine sharks smelling blood from miles away, but the truth is simpler and softer. Sharks use smell mainly to understand the water around them. They can tell which direction a scent is moving. They can tell how fresh the scent is. They can tell if something is healthy or weak. But they do not rush towards smells. They follow them slowly, letting the water carry more clues. They move with the same steady pace they use for everything else. If you imagine swimming with a shark, you would feel how controlled their senses are. You would see how they turn their heads slightly to catch a signal. You would watch how they pause for a moment, not with fear but with curiosity. They read the world like someone listening to quiet music. They never lose track of where they are. They never feel lost or overwhelmed. Their senses keep them grounded in the calm structure of the sea. When sharks navigate long distances, these senses guide them like a map. They feel the pull of the Earth's magnetic lines. They sense changes in water temperature. They follow the slow path of currents. Some sharks travel across entire oceans simply by trusting these signals. They do not force their way through. They follow the lines the planet draws for them. This thought alone has a calming pull. A creature that lets the world guide it step by step without pushing too hard shows a kind of wisdom that quiets the mind. Even when sharks rest, their senses stay soft and steady. They may swim slowly while resting, letting water pass over their gills. They may lie still on the sea floor if they have the right body to do so. Either way, they remain connected to the world around them. Small waves, tiny sounds, slow signals, everything stays gentle. Nothing cuts through the quiet too sharply. When you imagine all these senses working together, pressure, scent, sight, sound, electricity, you begin to feel the beauty in how sharks understand the world. They live inside a web of information that arrives softly from every direction. They do not need words. They do not need bright lights. They do not need loud noises. They simply feel what the ocean tells them. And because of this, their lives follow a calm, steady rhythm. A shark's movement is one of the calmest sights in the ocean. When you watch one move, you notice how the body never fights the water. It follows the water, it matches its speed, it bends with it. The motion looks simple, but it is the result of millions of years spent learning the easiest way to travel through the sea. Nothing about it is rushed, nothing is sharp. The whole body flows in a smooth line that makes you feel steady just by imagining it. Sharks move with a rhythm that feels almost like breathing. Their tail sweeps from side to side in soft, even strokes. Each stroke pushes them forward without wasting energy. Every part of their body supports the next part. The head stays steady. The fins steer in gentle angles. The tail does most of the work. This makes the whole shape of the shark glide through water with almost no resistance. If you picture it in your mind, the image feels light and slow. You can sense how the water shapes itself around the shark, opening a clean path in front and closing behind like nothing was ever disturbed. This movement is not about power. It is about balance. Their skin is covered with tiny scales, arranged in a pattern that lets water slide past them easily. Their fins are shaped to catch the water in the right way. Their muscles are placed along the body so the whole shape can bend in smooth waves. When all of these parts work together, the movement becomes part of the sea itself. It feels natural, quiet, and steady. Most sharks do not move fast unless they need to. Their normal speed is slow and relaxed. They let the water support their body weight. They let the currents help them move forward. They choose paths that match the flow of the ocean. When you imagine a shark moving alongside a gentle current, you can almost feel the softness of the water around them. The motion is not forced. It is more like being carried than pushing forward. This creates a picture that feels peaceful and soothing. Even the largest sharks move with this calm rhythm. A whale shark, though massive, moves like a quiet ship. It swings its tail slowly. It lets its size carry it forward. It hardly uses energy because every movement is easy and controlled. Smaller sharks move the same way. Some turn more often, and some stay in straight lines longer, but all of them share that same smooth flow. It is a style that feels safe, stable, and unbroken. This calm movement helps sharks save energy. Their bodies are shaped to use the least amount of effort possible. A single slow push of the tail can move them several feet. When they rest while swimming, the movement becomes even lighter. They keep just enough pressure to stay balanced. They do not rush through water. They slide through it, letting the sea do part of the work. The simple rhythm of their movement creates a feeling of peace, not only for them but for anyone watching. Imagine a shark passing through clear blue water. It does not shake the water. It does not stir sand from the sea floor. It does not make a trail of bubbles. It leaves the ocean as calm as it found it. This picture feels like a moving meditation. The slow tail swings, the steady body, the quiet path. It gives your mind something easy to follow, something with no sudden turns. Sharks make small adjustments with their fins. A tiny lift from the pectoral fins helps them rise. A gentle angle helps them sink. These changes are soft and almost invisible. They do not flap their fins like birds flap wings. They hold them steady and let the shape of the fin guide the water around them. This makes their motion look almost effortless, as if the slightest idea of turning is enough to change direction. Their whole body is built to reduce stress as they move. They have light skeletons made of cartilage instead of heavy bone. This makes them flexible, but it also helps them stay buoyant. They do not need strong kicks to stay up. They do not need to fight gravity the way land animals do. The ocean holds them gently, and they move through it with calm confidence. When sharks travel through deep water, their movement becomes even slower. The deep sea has almost no light, and the water is colder and stiller. Sharks move through it with long, smooth strokes. There is no need for quick turns or sudden changes. Everything around them is quiet and timeless. Their rhythm matches the deep sea silence. If you imagine this space, your own thoughts begin to slow down. The deep water becomes a dark blue room. The shark becomes a soft shape moving through it at a steady, calming pace. Sometimes sharks follow long paths across oceans. They travel through warm water and cold water, through open spaces and coral areas. They do this by keeping the same smooth rhythm no matter where they are. They never rush the journey. They let the sea guide their body. They let the pull of currents carry them. They move with the planet instead of against it. This creates a kind of quiet grace that makes them feel ancient and wise. Even young sharks learn this rhythm early. They watch the adults. They feel the water. They learn how the body bends. They learn how the tail moves. They learn how the fins angle. All these lessons form the shark's natural rhythm. Once they learn it, they carry it for life. No matter how big they grow, the rhythm stays soft and calm. When sharks change depth, their movement remains gentle. Rising feels like floating upward. Sinking feels like settling downward. They do not struggle to move between layers of water. They let the shape of their body and the steady beat of their tail handle everything. This makes the ocean feel like a world with no sharp edges, only smooth layers that they pass through. When sharks slow down fully, the water still holds them. They do not lose balance. They simply reduce the tail movement and let the gentle pull of water keep them stable. Some species can even stay still on the sea floor, but even then their bodies keep a soft connection to the rhythm of the ocean. The water continues to move around them in slow patterns, and they rest inside that natural motion. Watching a shark move can be more calming than watching waves. Waves rise and fall, but a shark's movement stays steady and even. It is like watching a line that never shakes. It gives your mind something to follow without effort, a simple movement, a soft rhythm, a slow pattern that repeats. And as you picture this steady motion, your own thoughts begin to match it. You feel the ease of their tail. You feel the smooth bend of their body. You feel the way they let the ocean carry them. And for a while, your mind rests in the same peaceful rhythm. The deep ocean is a place that feels almost like another world. Light from the surface never reaches it. Sound moves slowly. The water is cold and still, almost like time itself has slowed down. This is where some of the most unusual sharks live. They move in calm, steady ways because nothing in the deep sea happens fast. Every creature here saves energy. Every movement is soft. Every decision feels gentle and slow. When you imagine this space, it feels like a quiet dream that stretches in all directions. One of the most remarkable sharks in the deep is the Greenland shark. It lives in cold, dark water in the far northern seas. It moves at a pace that is almost hard to believe. It swims slower than most people walk. But in the deep ocean, this is not a weakness. It is a perfect way to survive. The Greenland shark does not need speed. It needs patience. The cold water makes everything move slowly, even the shark's heartbeat. It beats so slowly that it feels unreal. Some researchers say this shark might live for hundreds of years, maybe even more than 400. Imagine a creature older than entire countries, still moving gently through dark water. The Greenland shark does not see clearly. Its eyes often carry tiny parasites that glow faintly, giving it a mysterious look. But the shark does not rely on sight. It senses the world through touch, sound, and smell. It follows slow signals in the water. It is drawn to scents carried by currents. It explores the deep in a calm, steady pattern. When you picture it moving through cold, blue-black water, the scene feels peaceful and timeless. Nothing chases it. Nothing surprises it. It simply follows the quiet rules of the deep. Another deep-sea shark with a strange and magical presence is the cookie-cutter shark. It is much smaller than most sharks, but it has a way of standing out. It lives in very deep water during the day, then rises closer to the surface at night. This daily rise and fall is gentle and slow, almost like a natural rhythm. The cookie-cutter shark has glowing patches along its belly. These patches shine with a soft green light. In the darkness, the light makes the shark blend in with the faint glow from above, helping it stay hidden from bigger predators. The cookie-cutter shark has a unique way of feeding. It takes small, round bites out of larger animals like whales, dolphins, or even submarines. It uses special lips to attach to its target, then twists to remove a neat circle of flesh. This sounds rough, but the shark does not attack in a fast or violent way. It moves quietly. It comes close without being seen. The deep sea gives it the space to do this without danger, because everything in this part of the ocean happens slowly and without sudden movement. Then there is the frilled shark, one of the oldest-looking sharks in the world. It has a long, eel-like body and 6 pairs of frilled gills that look almost like folded ribbon. When it swims, it does not move like other sharks. It does not swing a wide tail. Instead, it moves in smooth waves like a long piece of silk being pulled through water. This gives it a magical, almost unreal appearance. It looks like something from a myth. People sometimes call it a living fossil because it has changed so little from ancient times. The frilled shark hunts in deep water where light cannot reach. It waits for fish or squid to come near. Its mouth is filled with sharp, thin teeth that bend inward, making it easy to catch prey that drifts too close. But even when it hunts, the shark stays calm. It does not race. It does not chase. It uses patience. Everything about the frilled shark feels gentle and slow, even the way it opens its mouth. The deep sea gives it the perfect home because nothing disturbs the quiet there. All these deep-sea sharks share the same world, a world without sunlight, a world where the water is freezing cold, a world where pressure is so strong that it would crush most animals. But these sharks are built for this. Their bodies handle the pressure. Their senses work well in darkness. Their slow pace fits perfectly into a place where speed is almost useless. They show how life can adapt to even the quietest and darkest spaces. In the deep sea, sound travels differently. A small noise might take a long time to fade. A slow movement might leave gentle waves that spread far. Sharks in the deep use these signals to find food, sense danger, or follow paths. They do not rush toward anything. They wait for clues. They follow soft patterns. They listen more than they move. This creates a calm rhythm in their lives, a rhythm that matches the stillness around them. The deep ocean also has creatures that glow with their own light. Some sharks have small glowing spots near their fins or belly. This helps them send signals to others or hide from predators. The light is not bright. It is soft, like tiny stars scattered across the body. When a shark swims with this faint glow, it looks like a moving spark in endless darkness. If you imagine watching one from a short distance, the sight would feel peaceful and quiet, almost like looking at a lantern floating through night air. Many deep-sea sharks spend most of their lives alone. The deep ocean is too large and too empty for regular groups or large gatherings. This quiet solitude shapes their calm behavior. They move without hurry, they rest without fear, they explore slowly because there is no reason to rush. Other creatures in the deep behave the same way. Everything here respects the silence. When storms happen at the surface, the deep sea does not feel them. The water stays still. The pressure stays the same. The temperature barely changes. Sharks in this region live in a world that almost never shifts. This stability shapes their long, slow lives. A Greenland shark might live through centuries of storms above without feeling a single one. It simply continues moving through cold water as the world changes far above its head. Some sharks may only come near the surface once in a lifetime, so people rarely see them. This hidden world remains one of the most unexplored places on Earth. But the sharks that do appear show us how calm and quiet this region truly is. Their slow movements and ancient bodies remind us that nature does not always rush. Sometimes it chooses silence and patience. When you imagine these deep-sea sharks moving in darkness, with soft light reflecting off their bodies and no sound except the slow beat of water around them, the picture feels almost like a dream. The ocean becomes a huge, quiet room. The sharks become gentle shapes in that room, and the stillness of the deep wraps everything in calmness. Some sharks look powerful and sharp, but some are the complete opposite. Some are calm giants that move through the water with a kindness that feels almost unreal. When people hear the word shark, they often imagine danger, but these gentle ones do not hunt large animals. They do not chase or strike. They simply open their wide mouths and let tiny food drift inside. It feels peaceful to imagine them moving in slow lines, letting the ocean feed them without any rush. Whale sharks, basking sharks, and megamouth sharks are huge, but their hearts seem soft in the way they live. They guide themselves through warm seas and stay close to the surface where the light still reaches. Everything about them feels calm and steady, like a slow breeze underwater. A whale shark is the largest fish on Earth, yet it behaves like the ocean's friendly traveler. It swims slowly with a wide mouth open to catch small plankton. It does not harm swimmers or divers. Many divers even describe being close to a whale shark as standing next to a moving mountain. You can picture it now, a massive shape gliding quietly, letting little creatures drift into its mouth. It does not need to fight. It does not need to chase. The ocean gives it everything, and it accepts it gently. This idea alone can calm the mind. A creature so big could take whatever it wants, yet it chooses a simple meal from the smallest pieces of life. Basking sharks feel the same way. They move with their mouths wide open and let water pass through their gill slits. As water moves out, tiny animals stay behind and become food. Their bodies move in a steady line with no sudden turns. They rise to the surface when the sun is warm, and sometimes their fins break through the water like quiet shadows. Sailors used to see their huge shapes and feel fear, but the truth is the opposite. These sharks want nothing from people. They only want to follow the plankton clouds that flow with the seasons. They let the ocean guide them instead of controlling it. Something about this lifestyle feels soft and freeing, like letting the world move around you without trying to push against it. Then there are megamouth sharks, the rare giants that almost no one sees. They live deep in the water and move up at night to feed. Scientists believe they follow glowing plankton, using small signs of light to understand where food is. Their mouths are huge, but their movements are slow. They rise in the darkness as if carried by the sea itself. They open their mouths and let the quiet night water bring them tiny animals. It feels like watching a calm creature take part in a nightly ritual that never changes. They do not hurry. They do not fight. They simply move upward when the dark becomes softer and return downward when the water grows bright. This pattern repeats again and again like a natural lullaby. There is something peaceful about creatures that grow so large yet act with such softness. Their bodies do not match their style, and that contrast feels comforting. We often connect size with strength or danger, but these giants challenge that idea. They remind us that something can be powerful without being aggressive. They remind us that slow and quiet can be a way of life, even when the world expects big things to be loud. Many people who have seen these sharks up close say the same thing. Their presence feels grounding, as if the ocean itself becomes calmer around them. When they move, the water around them shifts in gentle waves instead of sharp breaks. Watching them feed is almost dreamlike. They move forward, they take in water, they keep a steady speed, they let the sea filter life for them. Nothing looks forced. Their rhythm is smooth and predictable, like watching someone breathe in their sleep. If you imagine floating near them, you may feel the same ease they bring to the water. Their large gill slits open and close with a natural motion. Their tails move in slow sweeps that barely leave a wake. You can almost imagine the sound of bubbles moving past their bodies, small and constant, like a soft whisper. Even their eyes seem gentle. Whale sharks have small eyes for their size, and they sometimes turn their heads a little to look at passing fish. They almost look curious, in a slow and relaxed way. Basking sharks often move with their eyes half closed, giving them a sleepy expression. Megamouth sharks have soft, rounded heads that make them look more like deep-sea wanderers than predators. Each one gives a sense of peace, because their world is built on steady motion, endless patience, and the simplest kind of meal. People sometimes forget that sharks come in many forms. They think only of sharp teeth and fast attacks, but these giants live the opposite life. They are reminders that the ocean is full of different stories. Some stories are fast and bold, but some are slow and comforting. These gentle sharks show us that calmness has its own kind of strength. They survive by being patient. They grow by following soft patterns. They thrive by trusting the ocean around them. And when we take a moment to picture them moving, feeding, and rising through the water, we feel that same gentle energy. So as you think about these peaceful giants, let their calm movement guide your thoughts into a slower pace. Imagine their huge shapes passing by without a sound. Imagine the small plankton drifting into their mouths like tiny stars moving into a quiet sky. Imagine the soft push of their tails as they keep a steady path through warm water. These scenes can settle your breathing and bring you into a more restful state, just like the ocean settling before night. The quiet giants of the sea teach us that even the largest beings can choose peace over force. And when you picture them moving without hurry or stress, you may feel a little of that peace spreading inside you too. Many people think sharks never rest, but the truth is much softer. Sharks do rest, and the way they do it feels calm and almost meditative. Their bodies are built for movement, yet even movement can become a kind of gentle sleep. Some sharks rest while swimming, letting their bodies follow a simple path with almost no effort. Others lie still on the seabed and breathe quietly through spiracles. Each style gives a different kind of peace, and when you picture them, you can almost feel your own mind slowing down. It is comforting to learn that even creatures known for strength have moments where they let their bodies settle and their energy drop into a softer rhythm. Some sharks must keep moving to breathe, so they rest while swimming. Their bodies move forward, but their minds slip into a low state. Their muscles work in a steady pattern. Their tails swing left and right, but the motion is gentle and automatic. It is not fast or alert, it is slow, soft, and consistent. Scientists believe these sharks enter a restful state where their brain activity becomes quieter. They are not fully awake, but not fully asleep either. It is a blend that lets them stay alive while still resting. This style of rest is almost like letting the water carry them. Their eyes may stay open, but their thoughts are likely calm. You can imagine a shark moving through deep blue water, barely aware of anything except the soft push of the sea. Other sharks have a different approach. They sink to the bottom and lie still on the sand or among rocks. These sharks have spiracles, which are small openings behind their eyes. Spiracles pull water into their bodies even when they are not moving. This lets them breathe while resting. The water flows in, passes over their gills, and carries oxygen into their blood. The whole process is gentle and quiet. You can imagine a shark on the ocean floor, its body settled like a large stone. Its chest rises and falls with slow breaths. Its eyes blink now and then, but nothing feels rushed. This stillness shows a side of sharks many people never see. It shows their ability to pause and reset without fear. Sharks that rest on the seabed often pick places that feel safe. Sometimes they tuck themselves into caves or hide under ledges. The shade keeps them cool, and the quiet water around them feels like a natural shelter. Some species even rest together in small groups, forming slow, still clusters of calm bodies. They do not move much. They barely shift their fins. They simply stay close and breathe together. If you imagine this scene, it almost feels like a group of friends sitting quietly in a peaceful room. The shared silence has a relaxing energy. The ocean around them stays calm, and the soft sand under them holds their weight with no resistance. The way sharks breathe while resting is interesting too. When a shark lies still, its spiracles pull in water in a steady rhythm. The movement is small, almost invisible, but it keeps the shark alive. Water flows gently over the gills, and oxygen enters the body. The process repeats again and again, like a quiet heartbeat. The slow breathing of a resting shark can be a calming thought. It reminds us that even strong animals have moments where everything slows down. Their breath becomes the center of their world. Their bodies loosen. Their energy fades into a peaceful state where nothing demands action. Some sharks switch between swimming rest and lying rest depending on where they are. If the water is warm and calm, they might settle on the seabed. If the water moves too fast or the bottom is rough, they may choose to keep swimming instead. This flexibility helps them survive in many places. But no matter which method they use, their rest always has the same gentle tone. Sharks do not snore. They do not curl up. They do not close their eyes fully. Their rest looks more like a slow lowering of energy. Their muscles soften. Their movements become minimal. Their attention fades. This simple quietness is their version of sleep. There is also something calming about the idea that sharks have survived millions of years with this gentle rhythm. They do not need deep sleep like humans do. They only need moments where their body and mind enter a softer mode. That small adjustment keeps them healthy. It keeps them steady. Their rest is built into their nature, and they follow it without thinking too much. Nature designed a way for them to recharge without stopping life completely. This idea can feel comforting, too. Rest does not always need to be a full stop. Sometimes it can be a soft pause. One of the most peaceful sights is a nurse shark resting in a group. Nurse sharks love to lie still, often stacking on top of each other like calm, warm shapes. Divers often find them quietly piled together in caves or beside coral walls. They breathe slowly and blink gently. Their tails rest on the sand. Their bodies look relaxed, almost soft. Nothing about them seems tense. Watching them gives you a sense of deep quiet, like the ocean itself is taking a long, slow breath. Imagine the ocean at night. The water is cool. The world is dim and silent. A shark swims in a slow line, its tail moving in small strokes. Its mind is in a resting state, and everything feels gentle. Far below, another shark lies on the sand, taking slow breaths through its spiracles. Around it, fish move quietly so they do not disturb it. The ocean holds these resting bodies, giving them a natural space to recover. The scene feels peaceful, steady, and safe. Thinking about shark rest can settle your mind too. Their calm breathing, their slow movements, their soft rhythms. These patterns have existed long before humans came into the world. When you imagine them resting in the deep sea, you may feel your own thoughts slowing. Your breath may match their gentle pace. Even the idea of the ocean floor, cool and quiet, can bring a sense of safety. Sharks show us that rest does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be steady and simple. And when you picture them lying still or moving gently in their resting flow, a calmness spreads slowly through your own mind. Sharks have lived on Earth for almost 400 million years, and thinking about that alone can bring a quiet sense of wonder. They were here long before the first trees stood tall. They swam through oceans when the planet looked nothing like it does now. When you picture a shark moving through ancient seas, you can almost feel time stretching far back in a slow, endless line. It makes them feel like gentle travelers carrying the memory of the world inside them. Their journey is long, but their nature has stayed steady and calm. They survived not because they were loud or flashy, but because their bodies were simple, balanced, and made for peaceful motion. When the earliest sharks appeared, the oceans were filled with strange creatures. Some had armor, some had many limbs, some looked like nothing we see today. Sharks were smaller then, with softer bodies and fewer sharp features. But even in that early form, they already carried the basic design that would last millions of years. They had smooth bodies shaped like arrows. They had strong tails that pushed them forward. They had senses that helped them stay aware of their world. Their design worked so well that nature kept it almost the same over time. That gentle shape gliding through water today is not very different from the shape that moved through those ancient seas. As Earth changed, many creatures came and disappeared. There were huge extinctions, some so strong they wiped out most life in the water. Yet sharks kept going. They took hits, but they always found a way forward. They adjusted to new temperatures. They adapted to shifting oceans. They survived periods when food was low. Their calm, steady bodies helped them handle the world as it changed around them. Instead of relying on one big skill, they used many small ones that worked together like pieces of a quiet machine. Their senses, movements, and instincts blended to keep them alive when other creatures faded away. What makes this more soothing is that sharks did not need to rush their evolution. They did not push towards speed or strength too fast. They stayed patient. They let time shape them slowly. Their bodies became more smooth. Their fins became more balanced. Their sense organs became more sensitive. But none of this happened in sudden jumps. It happened in small steps, each one helping them slide deeper into harmony with the sea. If you look at a shark today, you see the result of millions of gentle improvements, each one adding to the flow of their body. Their shape feels natural, almost peaceful, because it was carved by time instead of force. Some ancient sharks grew into giants, like the megalodon. It was huge and powerful, but it was only one branch of the shark family. When it disappeared, smaller sharks took its place. Some lived near coasts, some moved into deep water, some settled on the seabed. Sharks learned to live in almost every kind of ocean environment. Their ability to fill so many spaces shows how calm and flexible their nature is. They did not fight to take over the world. They simply adjusted themselves softly to whatever the ocean offered. That gentle interaction with nature helped them survive when other groups struggled. You can imagine early sharks swimming through seas filled with giant sea scorpions or strange fish with heavy plates. The ocean back then felt darker and heavier. Yet the sharks kept moving with the same steady rhythm they have today. They did not change much because they did not need to. Their design was already close to perfect. Their skin reduced friction. Their shape helped them save energy. Their senses guided them without confusion. Everything about them was simple, and that simplicity made them strong. The world above them changed many times, but the water around them stayed their home. As long as they listened to the sea, they survived. Over time, some sharks grew long and thin. Some grew flat and round. Some grew small and fast. Others grew slow and heavy. But deep inside, their bodies still carried the same ancient blueprint. The cartilage in their skeleton made them light. The shape of their gills stayed familiar. The position of their fins still balanced them in perfect alignment. Even their teeth, which they replaced over and over, followed patterns that had existed for millions of years. When scientists find fossil shark teeth, they can see the same shapes that exist today. This connection across time feels almost magical. It reminds us that sharks are living links to the Earth's past. Thinking about sharks during the age of dinosaurs adds another layer of calm. While giant reptiles roared on land, sharks moved silently under the water. While volcanoes erupted and continents shifted, sharks kept their quiet routines. They hunted when they needed to. They rested when they needed to. They followed the currents and lived in the moment. When the event that wiped out the dinosaurs hit the world, the seas shook, and many things died. Not because they were the strongest, but because their flexible nature allowed them to adjust to the new conditions. Some species of sharks today look almost exactly like sharks that lived millions of years ago. The frilled shark still has an ancient shape. The goblin shark still carries a design that feels old and untouched. These creatures feel like moving fossils, quiet and slow, drifting through time as if they belong to every period at once. When you picture them moving through deep water, you feel the weight of history around them. It is not heavy or sharp. It is soft, like a long memory that has stayed with them. Sharks teach us that evolution does not always mean big change. Sometimes it means small steps taken slowly until the body fits perfectly into its world. Their story is long, but it is also gentle. It shows the power of patience, the value of balance, and the beauty of staying true to what works. When you imagine 400 million years of movement, survival, and quiet presence, it becomes easier to relax your own mind. Time feels wide. Life feels steady. And sharks, moving through that long history with calm bodies and ancient instincts, become symbols of peaceful endurance. Their journey continues even now. They swim through seas that are far different from the ones they began in, but they move with the same rhythm. Their bodies still carry the wisdom of ages. Their senses still guide them through darkness and light. And when you picture them gliding slowly through the deep blue, you can feel that ancient calm settle inside you. Their history becomes part of the quiet moment you are in, steady and timeless like the ocean itself. Sharks have many behaviors that people rarely notice, and many of them are calm, simple, and strangely soothing when you imagine them. One of the most peaceful behaviors is the way some sharks circle slowly around an area. People often think circling is a sign of danger, but for sharks it can be a quiet way to understand their surroundings. The circular path lets them feel currents from different angles. It helps them sense tiny vibrations. It gives them time to read the water without rushing. When a shark circles, it is not always preparing to act. Many times it is simply taking in information, moving in a soft loop that feels steady and controlled. You can imagine a shark making slow, wide circles in clear water, taking its time as sunlight filters down. The motion feels more like calm exploration than anything else. Another gentle behavior is how sharks follow currents. Instead of fighting the movement of the water, they often let it guide them. Warm currents, cool currents, fast currents, slow currents. Sharks feel them all and choose the ones that help them save energy. They ride them like natural roads, letting their bodies move with little effort. This habit shows how in tune they are with the ocean. They do not force their way through life. They choose the easiest direction and go with it. Some species travel long distances this way, using the flow of the sea to carry them. This makes even their migrations feel peaceful, as if the ocean itself is helping them along. Shark migrations can be long, but they are not rushed. Some sharks travel thousands of kilometers, yet they move in a controlled, quiet pace. They stop to rest in safe areas. They follow coastlines and open currents. They glide through warm and cold waters. The journey becomes a steady rhythm rather than a race. Imagine a shark moving across an entire ocean, taking slow, easy strokes of its tail, letting the world change gently around it. They are patient travelers. They do not hurry. They trust the path and keep moving. Sharks also have social behaviors that feel surprisingly soft. Some species gather in groups, not to hunt, but simply to rest together or feed in peace. Hammerheads, for example, form large groups during the day. They swim side by side in gentle lines, their movements synchronized like a quiet dance. These groups offer safety and a sense of calm. The sharks do not rush or push each other. They move in harmony. It is almost peaceful to watch, as if they enjoy each other's presence without needing anything more. They follow each other slowly, sharing space in a simple, natural way. These moments show that sharks are not always solitary. They can be social in a quiet, subtle form. Some of the most interesting behaviors come from sharks that live in unusual environments. There are sharks that glow in the dark. These glowing sharks, called bioluminescent sharks, live in deep waters where sunlight does not reach. Their bodies produce a soft light, often a pale blue or green glow. The light is gentle, not bright or sharp. It helps them hide from predators by blending into the faint light coming from above. It may also help them find each other in the deep. The idea of a shark glowing softly in the darkness feels almost magical. You can picture it swimming slowly, a faint light tracing its shape as it moves through silent black water. The glow adds a dream-like quality to their world, making them feel like creatures from another time or place. There are also sharks that walk on their fins. These belong to a group known as epaulette sharks, and they live in shallow waters where the tide goes in and out. When the tide drops, parts of the reef can be exposed or too shallow to swim through. Instead of getting stuck, these sharks use their strong pectoral fins to push themselves along the ground. The movement looks like a slow, gentle crawl. They lift one side, then the other, moving forward in short steps. It may seem unusual, but it works well for them. Their walking behavior is calm and purposeful, showing how flexible and adaptable sharks can be. Watching an epaulette shark walk over sand or coral feels peaceful in its own way. The motion is slow, steady, and almost thoughtful. Another unique behavior is how sharks investigate things in the water. They do not rush toward unfamiliar objects. They move closer slowly, often in smooth arcs. They rely on their senses before getting too near. They feel vibrations, sense electrical fields, and then decide what to do. This careful approach helps them avoid danger and stay aware of their surroundings. It also shows how much they rely on calm observation. Sharks do not attack without reason. They study their world with patience, taking time to understand what is in front of them. Some sharks show curiosity toward objects they find floating or resting on the seabed. They may bump them gently, circle around them, or watch them from a short distance. These small moments show that sharks are thoughtful in their own way. They explore softly, using touch and movement to learn. Their curiosity is not frantic or wild. It is calm and steady, like someone walking through a quiet room and noticing the details. Other sharks show unique feeding behaviors that reflect patience. Some species wait near tight spaces for fish to emerge. They do not chase right away. They sit still, watching, breathing slowly, letting time pass. When the moment is right, they move with a short, smooth motion. The whole process can take minutes, and the shark remains calm the entire time. Their patience shows a level of control that many people overlook. Some sharks even use the tides to help them find food. They follow waves that push small fish into shallow pools. They move with the water instead of against it. This gentle cooperation with nature keeps them safe and saves energy. It also shows how deeply connected they are to the rhythm of the sea. There are also sharks that rest in groups during the day and become active only as the light fades. Their slow shift from resting to swimming mirrors the soft transition from daylight to evening. Their movements start easy, then become smoother, then settle into their natural rhythm. This connection to the time of day adds another layer of calmness to their life. When you imagine all these unique behaviors together, sharks become more than just strong animals. They become peaceful explorers, gentle travelers, glowing creatures of the deep, patient hunters, and thoughtful observers of their world. Their actions are slow, controlled, and filled with balance. Each behavior shows a different side of their quiet nature. And when you think of them gliding through water, walking along reefs, glowing in the dark, or moving with the currents, the entire picture feels soft and calming. Their world is full of steady rhythms, simple choices, and natural harmony. It becomes easy to relax your mind as you imagine their gentle habits shaping their lives below the surface. When you look closely at a shark, you start to notice things that most people never think about. Their bodies seem simple from far away, but when you move in gently, every detail shows its own quiet purpose. Their skin, their fins, their teeth, and even their eyes all work together in a smooth way that feels almost peaceful. Nothing is loud or wild. Everything is built for calm movement through the water, and this soft design makes sharks feel like creatures shaped by patience rather than speed. Shark skin is one of the most interesting parts of their body, even though it looks plain at first. If you ran your hand along it, you would feel tiny ridges that flow in one direction, like soft lines in sand. Their skin is covered with small structures called dermal denticles, and each one points backward. These little pieces make their skin feel rough in one way and smooth in the other. The pattern helps them move through water without making much sound. Water slides past their bodies with less force, and this lets them swim farther while using less energy. It almost feels like the ocean guides them forward because their bodies already match the flow of the sea. Their fins add another quiet layer to their movement. They never flap wildly. They don't splash or shake like other animals. Their fins tilt smoothly and hold steady shapes that keep them balanced. The long dorsal fin on their back helps them stay upright, and the pectoral fins near their sides let them glide with gentle turns. When a shark changes direction, the movement is slow and steady, almost like a leaf drifting sideways in still air. Their tail fin, strong but soft in motion, pushes them with small waves instead of sharp kicks. It creates a rhythm that feels almost sleepy, as if the shark is pacing itself through a world with no hurry. Even their teeth are not as fierce as people imagine when you see them through a calm lens. Sharks have many rows of teeth, and these teeth grow in a steady cycle throughout their lives, but they do not flash their teeth unless they need to feed. When a shark swims with its mouth closed, everything stays tucked away like a tool put back in its place. The teeth are shaped for their kind of food, and each shape has a purpose. Some sharks have wide, flat teeth made to crush shells. Others have long, thin teeth meant to grip slippery fish. The teeth are arranged in clean rows like patterns in a mosaic, and every row lies ready beneath the next one. They replace old teeth quietly, letting new ones slide into place without any fuss. Their eyes add a gentle feeling to their face. Shark eyes are often dark, round, and calm. They do not blink like people do. Instead, a thin layer inside their eyes protects them. The deep color of their eyes helps them see in low light, and many sharks have a reflective layer behind the retina that lets them catch even the faintest glow. This layer works like a mirror inside the eye, sending light back through the cells so they can see better at night. When you imagine a shark drifting through dim water, you can picture its eyes picking up soft shapes, blowing patterns, and slow shadows. Their vision helps them stay aware without needing quick reactions or sudden movements. The way all these parts work together makes sharks feel like creatures made for smooth travel rather than constant hunting. Even the shape of their body supports this style of movement. Their bodies narrow at the ends and widen gently at the center, forming a shape that water slips around naturally. This design has stayed the same for millions of years because it works so well. It keeps them steady in strong currents, helps them glide near the surface, and lets them sink or rise with small shifts in their fins. Every curve on their body holds a reason, but none of it feels sharp or aggressive. Shark gills also add to their calm design. The slits on the sides of their head let water pass through easily. As the water moves over the gills, oxygen enters their blood. Some sharks need to keep swimming so the water keeps flowing, but the movement they use for this is gentle and steady. They swim at an easy pace and let the ocean do half the work. Other sharks can rest on the seabed because they have spiracles behind their eyes. These openings pull water in and push it across the gills like a slow breath. When they rest this way, they barely move at all, yet their bodies keep working with quiet efficiency. A shark's nose is another soft feature that often goes unnoticed. They have small openings at the front of their snout, and water flows through them as they swim. They don't use their nose to breathe, but they use it to sense faint smells even from far away. This ability helps them understand their surroundings without rushing or searching. The signals drift through the water, and the shark just follows the information at its own speed. It's almost like listening to a distant sound carried on wind. Even their lateral line, a thin line that runs along each side of their body, adds to their calm awareness. This line is filled with small sensors that detect vibrations in the water. These vibrations might be from waves passing fish or moving objects. The shark feels this through a soft tingling sense rather than a sudden shock. It lets them glide with confidence, knowing what is around them without needing to turn their head or move quickly. All these details blend together into a body made for peaceful motion. Their skin keeps water smooth around them. Their fins stabilize them. Their teeth stay in quiet rows until needed. Their eyes gather soft light. Their gills breathe through water with simple ease. Their nose picks up drifting scents. Their lateral line listens to the ocean. Nothing in their body seems rushed, and nothing seems extra. Their design shows a kind of balance that only time and nature can create. When you picture a shark moving through its world, imagine these parts working together like pieces of a quiet machine shaped by the sea. Their bodies do not fight the water. They match it. They follow it. They move with it. This is what makes them feel peaceful when you look past the stories people tell. They are built to glide, to sense, to breathe, and to survive with simple grace. Some sharks feel almost hidden from the world, as if they live in corners of the ocean where time moves slower and light falls in softer ways. These rare species do not look like the ones most people imagine. They carry patterns, colors, and shapes that seem designed for secret places. Their lives are calm, quiet, and full of small mysteries that make them feel almost magical. When you learn about them, you start to understand how wide and gentle the shark world can be, far from the noisy stories told about them. One of these quiet species is the wobbegong. Even the name feels soft, almost like a whisper across the surface of the water. A wobbegong does not look like a typical shark at all. Its body is flat, wide, and covered with beautiful patterns that look like woven carpets or mossy stone. These patterns help it blend perfectly with the seafloor. The colors shift gently between sandy browns, soft greens, and muted yellows, and the shapes form circles, swirls, and lines that break up its outline. This camouflage is so strong that sometimes even divers swim right past them without noticing. A wobbegong lies completely still on rock or sand, letting water move across its body with no effort. It waits and watches with calm patience, living life in slow, steady moments. These help them hide even more, because they break up the shape of their face and make them blend with ocean plants. Their fins are rounded and gentle, and their eyes sit on top of their head like little round beads. Everything about them seems designed to disappear into the background. Their life is peaceful and quiet, and they move only when they truly need to. Most of the time, they're like sculptures resting on the seafloor, trusting their patterns to keep them safe. Another rare beauty is the angel shark. This shark also has a flat body, but instead of looking rough or patterned like a wobbegong, it has a soft, wide shape that reminds some people of rays. Its wings stretch out to the sides, and its body blends into the sand with tiny spots that look like stars. Angel sharks bury themselves gently under the sand, leaving only their eyes and part of their head showing. They stay perfectly still, covered by a thin layer of grains that shift with the water. The soft bumps and small details on their skin help them disappear into their surroundings. With each gentle breath, the sand moves a little, but their shape stays hidden. Angel sharks carry a peaceful energy. They do not chase or rush. They let the world move around them, living in the quiet space where light fades and shadows stretch. Their flat shape lets them rest with ease, and the way they settle into the sand almost looks like a blanket being laid over them. They wait without stress, using patience as their main tool for survival. Their eyes, calm and steady, watch for anything interesting, but they never seem tense or alarmed. Their life feels like a soft rhythm, matched with the slow sway of the sea. Then there is the zebra shark, a species that feels gentle and graceful in every way. Unlike the darker colors of wobbegongs and angel sharks, zebra sharks carry a soft beauty that changes as they grow. When they are young, their bodies are covered with bold black and white stripes, giving them a strong pattern that stands out like the lines on a painting. These stripes flow across their body in smooth curves, making them look almost like small underwater tigers. But as they grow older, their stripes fade into a warm tan color, and small dark spots appear across their skin. The adult pattern looks like soft sand sprinkled with ink drops, calm and gentle on the eyes. Zebra sharks move in a way that feels almost dreamy. Their long tail curves like a ribbon behind them, and their slender body twists with slow, wave-like motions. They like to glide close to the seafloor, exploring rocky areas, coral gardens, and sandy patches. Their movements are never rushed. They bend and turn as if they are floating through a quiet dream. Even the shape of their head adds to this peaceful feeling, with a rounded snout and small eyes that give them a friendly look. These rare sharks show a side of the ocean that feels different from what most people expect. They live quiet lives, hidden in places where soft light falls and gentle currents flow. They do not search for attention. They do not move with force or speed unless they must. Their patterns are gifts from the ocean, shaped over long stretches of time to help them fit into their world with ease. When you picture them, imagine the calmest corners of the sea, where colors blend, shadows drift, and everything feels slower. The ocean holds many secrets, and these sharks are among the most beautiful ones. Each one shows how creative nature can be. The wobbegong blends with rocks like a living rug. The angel shark rests under sand like a soft shadow. The zebra shark glides with spots that glow in gentle contrast. They each follow their own peaceful way of life, shaped by the quiet landscapes they live in. Their bodies also show how flexible and adaptable sharks can be. Some hide by lying flat, while others use long tails or patterns to blend in. Some wait in stillness, and others glide through coral paths. Their designs are not loud or fierce. They are soft, slow, and thoughtful. Every movement seems shaped by the calm waters around them. These sharks are reminders that strength does not always come from speed or power. Sometimes it comes from blending, waiting, and moving with quiet grace. When you imagine them now, try to picture the soft textures they carry. The rough carpets of the wobbegong, the smooth, sand-covered skin of the angel shark, the gentle spots on the zebra shark. Let the patterns form in your mind like a painting made with natural colors. See the shapes shift as they move, blending and fading, returning and hiding again. These details are what make them rare. These details are what make them feel almost magical. Their world is peaceful, and their presence in it is calm. They show that the ocean is not only a place of rush and power. It is also a place of stillness, where creatures live quiet lives in shadows and soft light. These sharks remind you to look deeper, to notice the small wonders hidden in quiet corners. They are rare, but they are gentle in every way. And when you learn about them, they stay with you like soft memories of a world full of quiet beauty. When you think about sharks, it is easy to picture sharp teeth or fast swimming, but their true role in the sea is softer than most people imagine. They move through the water like quiet caretakers, keeping everything balanced without making a scene. The ocean is a huge world with many layers of life, and sharks help hold it together in ways that are calm, steady, and deeply important. When you look at them this way, their presence feels more like a gentle guide than a threat. Sharks control the numbers of many creatures in the sea, but they do it without chasing everything around. They watch, they move, they sense, and they choose carefully. They usually target animals that are weak, sick, or slow, which helps keep the stronger ones healthy. This simple act makes the whole ocean cleaner and more balanced. It stops certain species from growing too quickly and using up all the food. It also gives smaller fish a chance to survive because the system stays steady rather than tipping one way or the other. When a shark swims along a reef, it creates a soft signal that other animals can feel. It is not fear, but awareness. Fish change their patterns slightly, and this helps stop them from crowding into one area. If too many fish gather in one spot, they eat too much of the plants or small creatures living there. Sharks prevent this without even trying. Just by being there, they help guide the flow of life so the reef has time to grow back and stay healthy. In open water, sharks keep the food chain smooth and stable. Big sharks watch over the top levels, while smaller sharks shape the layers below. Each group has its own place, and all of them work together like pieces in a soft, natural rhythm. When one type of shark feeds on certain fish, it leaves room for other fish to rise. This gives the ocean a mix of life that stays steady year after year. Without sharks, everything shifts too fast. Some creatures grow in huge numbers, and others disappear. The balance weakens, and the sea loses the calm order that it has held for millions of years. Even the ocean floor feels their influence. Some sharks swim close to the sand and help control animals that hide beneath it. Rays, crabs, and small buried fish stay in check because sharks patrol the area with slow, sweeping paths. Their presence keeps the seafloor from becoming too crowded with feeders that would dig up plants or disturb young habitats. This quiet control allows new life to settle and grow without being wiped out too early. Sharks also help move nutrients through the sea. When they swim long distances, their bodies push energy from one part of the ocean to another. Every time they feed and move on, they carry the results of that meal into new waters. This may seem small, but across thousands of miles and many years, it helps spread important materials that other creatures need. This invisible work keeps waters from becoming empty in some places and overloaded in others. It is another way sharks help smooth out the natural flow, always in calm steps. Some sharks rise to the surface and bring energy upward when they feed on animals from deeper water. Others dive down and bring energy lower after feeding near the top. These movements help mix the ocean gently. This mixing is part of what makes the sea full of life in so many layers. Sharks do it without thinking about it. Their natural patterns are enough to keep the water rich and active in the right places. Many people do not know that sharks also protect seagrass beds and coral reefs simply by guiding the animals that graze on them. When sharks patrol the edges of these areas, it stops turtles, rays, and other grazers from eating one spot for too long. Instead, these animals move around more slowly and evenly, which lets the grass and coral recover. This careful balance helps young fish find places to hide and grow. It keeps the water clean. It maintains small worlds inside the bigger sea, all with a gentle touch from the sharks above. When sharks disappear from a place, the changes come quietly at first. Fish start acting differently. Plants get eaten too much. Certain animals take over spots where they never belonged. The whole system starts to shift in slow ways that eventually become hard to reverse. The ocean loses its calm balance, and the ripple effects spread far beyond the sharks themselves. This shows how deeply sharks are tied to the health of the sea. Their presence is like a steady hand resting on the ecosystem, keeping it from falling out of line. Sharks are also a sign of a healthy ocean. When you see them in an area, it often means there is plenty of life below the surface. It means the food chain is working. It means the habitats are strong. This is why many people feel hopeful when they see sharks returning to places where they have been missing. The return means the sea is healing, even if the process is slow. Sharks bring a sense of calm order with them because their role is woven into the sea's natural rhythm. Many sharks live long lives, and their slow, steady pace helps shape the ocean over time. They do not rush or make sudden changes. They stay consistent. Their patience becomes part of the ocean's strength. It teaches us that balance is not created by force, but by quiet, ongoing presence. Sharks have done this for millions of years, long before humans ever looked into the sea. They have shaped the flow of life with soft patterns and steady habits that let the ocean thrive. When you imagine sharks now, think of them not as hunters, but as caretakers. Think of them swimming through reefs, guiding fish with gentle pressure, and keeping the world beneath the waves balanced. Think of them gliding through open water, shaping the food chain with smooth choices. Think of them pacing over the sea floor, controlling hidden life without stirring up trouble. Their role is soft but strong, and the ocean depends on this balance to stay alive. Sharks keep the sea calm in ways that cannot always be seen, but can always be felt. They protect it by being part of its natural heartbeat. And when they move through the water, they carry a sense of peace that has shaped the ocean for longer than humans can imagine. The water feels softer now as you rise through it, almost as if the whole ocean has given you a slow and gentle goodbye. You have spent so long with these quiet animals that the sea around you feels different. It feels warmer. It feels calmer. You can picture the sharks still moving far below, each one keeping its own peaceful rhythm. You can almost sense the steady beat of the deep, like a slow pulse that carries through everything. It sits in your mind and helps your thoughts settle down in a smooth and easy way. You think about how still the deep sea felt when you watched the Greenland shark move through the dark water, almost like time itself moved slower around it. You remember how the big gentle sharks opened their wide mouths to collect tiny food, not in a rush, not in a hurry, just following an old and natural rhythm. You let that memory rest in your mind for a moment because it feels soft and safe. You think about the small sharks, the glowing sharks, the strange sharks that hide on the ocean floor, and how each one had a calm purpose in its quiet world. You breathe a little slower as the surface comes closer. It is easy to breathe like this. It is steady and smooth. It matches the feeling of sharks resting on the seabed, breathing through spiracles with slow care. You picture the peaceful rise and fall of their bodies as water passes through, and it makes your own breath follow the same soft way. In, gentle. Out, gentle. Nothing forced, nothing sharp. Just slow, steady air, the same way the ocean moves around them. Your mind goes back through everything you learned. How sharks sense tiny signals in the water. How they feel shapes and motion long before they see anything. How they move with soft control, wasting almost no energy, gliding like calm shadows that do not disturb the sea around them. Their world is simple. Their world is quiet. Their world is steady. And somehow that steadiness begins to wrap around your thoughts and protect them from noise. You rise a little more, but you do not feel rushed. The ocean lifts you, the same way currents lift a resting shark. Slow, balanced, smooth. Nothing pushes against you. Nothing pulls you away. You just continue upward at a gentle pace, as if the water understands how soft your thoughts have become. You think about how long sharks have lived on Earth. How they survived storms, changes, and even extinctions by staying calm, steady, and shaped by millions of years of practice. That thought feels comforting. It reminds you that gentle things can survive anything. It reminds you that life does not always need noise or speed. Sometimes life grows stronger in the quiet. The surface light grows brighter, but it feels warm, not sharp. It has a soft glow, like morning light seen through half-closed eyes. It feels like a slow welcome back. You imagine sharks rising toward the light after a long swim, peaceful and unbothered, moving with smooth lines as the colors of the sea shift around them. You think again about how important they are, how they keep the sea healthy, how they shape the balance of life without ever trying. They do not control the sea by force. They guide it by simply being what they are. Calm caretakers, quiet movers, steady protectors of the ocean's heartbeat. That thought sits gently inside you, almost like a reminder that even simple presence can matter. The last layers of water slide past you, warm and slow. You feel heavier now, but in a good way. A sleepy way, a peaceful way. Like your body and your thoughts are settling into something soft and safe. You picture the sharks again. You picture the patterns on their skin, the soft shine of their eyes, the steady motion of their tails. You picture them resting in places where the water barely moves, where everything is quiet and dim and calm. You rise again, but your mind stays in that dim water for a moment longer. It stays with the warm shapes of the peaceful giants. It stays with the glowing patterns of deep-sea sharks. It stays with the slow walk of the small sharks that move on their fins. It stays with the soft motion of the angel sharks hiding on the sand. Each picture feels like a small wave passing over you, smoothing your thoughts and clearing away the noise of the day. Your body relaxes more with each memory. Your shoulders loosen. Your breath slows even more. Your thoughts come in shorter lines and leave just as gently. You feel the quiet settling around you, the same way it settled around the sharks. This is the kind of quiet that makes the world feel bigger and softer at the same time. This is the kind of quiet that makes everything inside you feel lighter. You break the surface now, but it does not feel sudden. It feels like the end of a long, easy journey. The air above the sea is warm. The sky has a soft color, maybe like early morning or late evening. It wraps around you like a blanket. The sound of the waves is low and steady, the same slow rhythm that has carried your thoughts this whole time. You think one last time about the quiet world of sharks. You think about how peaceful they are, how they move like calm shadows, how they rest in gentle places, how they live without the rush of the world above. You feel grateful for their quiet company tonight. You feel grateful for the soft thoughts they brought you. You feel grateful for the peaceful space they helped you find inside your own mind. The waves fall into a smooth pattern. Your breathing follows. Your thoughts settle one by one. Everything becomes slow. Everything becomes quiet. Everything becomes soft. If you feel your eyes getting heavy, that is good. That means the calm has reached you. That means the ocean of quiet is holding you just right. Let your thoughts rest now. Let them fall into the same peaceful rhythm the sharks live in every day. The sea is calm. The sharks are calm. And now you are calm. Let sleep come to you the same way the ocean moves. Slow, gentle, quiet. Everything is peaceful now. Let go. Rest. Sleep.